I'm waiting for Catherine because we're going to shoot a podcast. And I couldn't find a pair of pants that fit me, dude. I gained so much weight. I gained like 1.5 inches in my waist in like 2 weeks from eating turkey legs. What a big stinky boy. Anyway, Catherine makes wedding dresses. She also she designs and sews very cool, very interesting wedding dresses, and she does some jackets and stuff. I'm gonna surprise her by her just being on camera immediately. I don't think she's expecting me to already be videoing, but look who it is.
Good to see you.
Say hi.
Hi. Yeah, so I would say that I'm definitely like a creative director. Like that's when people ask me for like what my title is, it's creative director. But yeah, I do design. I do all the design. In my past jobs, I worked for different ateliers and I was the head of design at those ateliers. But I also oversaw the whole creative experience. So whether that was, taking clients and like helping them, style everything from head to toe and design something, or like editorial photo shoots, I did all of those. I do that still now, like editorial, I help with that. If people need, they're shooting for a magazine or they want my advice on something and how something visually looks. Yeah. I also do a lot of that. Or fashion writing is something I also do that people don't really know. Yeah. But it's just the whole editorial vision from, concept of design to the finish when you see an image or when the person wears it.
Is it whimsical? Like, what's your vibe?
So I always say now that I have my own brand, CV, I would say my vibe is, I would say the CV woman is someone who really is authentic to herself, that loves to explore with color, print, fashion, is willing to be bold, and she could wear something, she's going to a gala, but I also love designing for if she's going to work or if she's volunteering. I think that the CV brand, who I design for, are women that really want to stand out and be authentically themselves.
Is it, so when you say stand out, mm-hmm. I think of, but then you say also workplace, mm-hmm. I think of almost like, if you were to do a pattern, if you're going to work, the whole dress isn't loud, or the whole outfit isn't loud. It's a section mm-hmm. of it that's loud. Or is it all?
Well, I also think there's so many ways to be bold and stand out. Sometimes you can have some of my favorite designs are just a black dress that is perfectly fitted to somebody, and it's the way that person feels in that garment that makes it feel so bold and wow, when you see them, it's how they stand in the garment, how they feel in it can change everything. And then on the other side, if you're wearing something crazy, or if I've designed crazy things with print or floral, if the person doesn't feel comfortable in it, they're going to stand completely different in it, and they're not.
That's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that's important. I like that you said that, because it's often how you're wearing it. Mm-hmm. You can, the clothes can not fit well, and then you look slouchy because of it.
Yeah.
But if they do, then it kind of forces you, from my perspective, it forces you to stand differently for two reasons. One, just the fit itself forces mm-hmm. your body to do it, because it's maybe a little more uncomfortable to lean or slouch. Mm-hmm. But also there's this psychological thing that happens with everyone around you mm-hmm. that is, we don't know why. Oftentimes, people don't know why they're attracted to other people. Mm-hmm. Just attracted in a neutral sense, obviously. Mm-hmm. But oftentimes they are, because that person has put in some kind of effort into almost playing the social game, playing the trick of that person care. If we're talking about tailored and mm-hmm. slim, then that person cares about that, and therefore they're somehow associated with almost a different time. Have you mm-hmm. noticed that? The reason why the bagginess is fashionable, from my eyes, is because that's what you get off the rack. That's what most people buy. It's a new way to buy clothes off the rack, of course. And people are getting used to it, but that's not the default way people have worn and purchased and acquired clothes over centuries.
Yeah, and I do it the old school way. So I specialize in custom design. So yes, I do make like collections where I'll design gowns. I have one coming out at the end of July where there'll be fabrics I pick and, you know, will be shot on models, and they're collections that, you know, have a central theme. But my bread and butter is meeting one-on-one with a woman and like for whatever occasion she needs, and seeing her body type, like how she feels, what does she want, and doing an individual sketch and then taking 30 some measurements and making a pattern for that person's body. And like, that's the old school way of doing it. And then all the fittings are done by hand by like a real person. You know, it's like sculpted on somebody's body. Like that's how clothes used to be made. Everyone's clothes used to be handmade for them. So I would say like how I do it is the old school way. Not very many people do it that way anymore. It's a kind of a dying art, like the old atelier feel, where it's not produced, you know, like, you know, and you buy it off the rack, you know, it's made specifically for that person, and it's like a one-of garment. Like, especially my custom gowns, I make that one-of garment and I never make that dress again for another person.
Because it doesn't fit that new person?
Yeah.
Not fit as in, it just doesn't.
Yeah. Like, and the pattern and everything is custom for that person. Like, we start on paper patterns. We draft it out based on, like, obviously this design sketch I do. And then, you know, we do it based on their measurements. So even the paper patterns, and then we go to muslins. Those can't ever be reused for another person, because even if you have a person that's similar in measurements, it would never be exact. It's like sculpture to that person's body, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Why do you think people are attracted to, why did people move away from that kind of buying clothes? Like, what's the reason?
Well, I think, and it makes sense. I think, like, obviously, you know, back in the day, I mean, this was how we didn't have big factories, and industry wasn't like such a, you know, we didn't have so much industry. And
what is back in the day?
Like, probably like the 1900s, you know, like when women, you know, would have to go to a dressmaker and get dresses made. They didn't have big factories. And then obviously there was like the Industrial Revolution, and that kind of started to change. I also think that like we saw this, you know, like back in the 60s too, like the garment district, like people would get clothes made, you know, and they would make their clothes, but the factories and like mass producing clothes became a thing because people wanted to start following trends. And that was like really important. And then like obviously the middle class, I think like they wanted fashion, and fashion, you know, they wanted something that was accessible. So like I think there was like, I mean, I think there's I love that like people can see like a dress and like take inspiration from it, and then, you know, get something and style something and buy something off the rack that almost gives them that similar feeling. But with custom design, it's completely different, and I don't think it's for every day. Like that's what I do is not for every day. I would say like my client is like, I design for like the most important occasions of their life, whether it's like their wedding, whether it's like they're winning an award and going to like an award gala, or, you know, award ceremony, or, you know, their families, their daughters getting married. I do a lot of Mother the Bride, things like that. So like they really want something one of a kind, and they want that like memorable experience of that dress. They don't want to be able to like see someone else in the dress.
How do they feel? How do they feel when they wear your clothes? I
mean, I feel like I know my customers really love like everything I design. That's like the biggest thing. That's why I love being a designer, is I've been able to meet so many incredible women and help design so many amazing garments for people that, like I said, have been a huge part of that moment for them and how they felt in that like special moment in their life. And made them feel really beautiful in their bodies, because I think that's another thing that, you know, as a designer, like someone will come to me And they'll say, oh, I really need a dress for this occasion, whether it's their wedding or whatever, but I'm really self-conscious about my arms. I just want to cover my arms. And I never like think about like, oh, we're just going to cover your arms. I think about like, what is the most beautiful way to like for the design and make this person like basically enhance their aura, their beauty. And then it has to match obviously the occasion. There's so many factors that go into it.
Yeah.
That yeah.
But when they so is it based on what they're wearing then? Because like the way I like to think of like, you know, and anything that we design at Roblero for our people, it's like I want them to feel sharp. I want them to feel like, it depends on the design, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go even further. You can make it really aggressive. You could tame it down. But regardless, I like it to feel like almost like Tom Ford's rebirth. You know, because Tom Ford is not anymore, it seems, unfortunately, which is insane. I can't believe that's the case. But I don't feel like anybody has taken that mantle. And it's not that I want to take that mantle, because I don't believe that... there was the line, Dave Chappelle had a line, it was the mark of greatness is everything that comes after you bears your mark. And, you know, I started at Charles Tyrwhitt, and I like that I don't want to shut anyone out of accessing the feeling that I can help them get through clothing, within reason. I mean, you know, there's only, you can only start custom at a certain price. Otherwise, it's not possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, I want my people to feel like kind of like forward, edgy, a little classic, but a little edgy. So do you want your women and the people you work with to feel elegant, sharp, bold? Is it just depend on the person and the clothes that you make?
It depends on the person and the occasion a lot of times. But I would say, like, I guess like my clientele, like when I see a woman, I want her to feel like her most beautiful self, and that comes from inside as well as what she's wearing, but the outside and what the garment is, it just expresses who that person is on the inside. I truly believe that. Like, I think fashion and garments are like wearable art, and they're a true expression of like a person. And so I guess like I just want my client to feel like the it girl. When she walks in the room, she just feels like her best self. And that's different for everyone. Like, some women want to feel elegant and like really classy. Some women want to feel really bold and like playful. Some really want to feel whimsical. So it's more like exploring what essence they want to like bring forward of their own personality. And then I love to play on that essence. So if like I have a woman who I feel like she's a very elegant woman, you know, like knowing what she does. Like, I just had a client that she's been like an art gallery. She's like a huge person in the art gallery world. And her daughter just got married. And like a huge thing for her was just feeling very like a piece of art. Like, she's wearing wearable art.
That's cool.
And it was hard because she's obviously such an expert with like painting and sculpture, and so she's very particular visually, and like it was really cool to be able to pick her brain on like what she like sparks her imagination. And I think that's what I really love about working with clients, because I think fashion is about imagination. That's why I wore the eye dress, because I'm related to Diana Vreeland. I don't know if you know Diana Vreeland. Yeah. So she was the first editors at Vogue, and then she went to Harper's Bazaar, and she actually started the Met Gala, and she had a quote that says, "The eye has to travel." So, and that was just basically her saying like fashion has to be about imagination and like curiosity and like fun, and that like being in. So that's what this dress represents to me, is like the eye has to travel, and you have to be interested in that person and intrigued. So that's, I guess, what I go for when I design.
Yeah. I was in San Francisco once, like almost 15 years ago, and I remember seeing someone who just like was dressed. I mean, at the time, I thought a little ridiculous. But at that moment, I had this thought, and it was like, that person is doing everyone a favor by dressing that way, because they are doing the experimentation, and they're the ones who fashion is built on. Because, you know, not to stray too far, but the dark ages in human history, you know, was it 500 to 14 or whatever, that period of time, it's considered dark because there was this pressure that people felt because of the church to make everything similar to each other. And it's kind of what I heard from you is like, you know, it's the stuff that is the standalone art piece. It's the thing that is new, that is remembered.
Yeah. And I feel like for me, I've always, like growing up in Colorado, it was very much like that. So I was always very authentic to myself, and my family loves fashion, and I've always loved fashion since I was little. And so I would wear crazy little things to school. Like I would wear like berets, I would wear like full red outfits, I would wear like dresses. I'm a huge dress person, obviously. It makes sense now, I'm a dress designer. But like a lot of people growing up, yeah, they would want to wear the same thing, like Aeropostale and like, you know, just t-shirts and jeans, and like people did not understand it. But I'm so glad that I never like let that affect me, and never let me like say, oh, I just want to be like everyone else, because I think it's so much more fun to wear clothes that actually represents how you feel that day, or who you are as a person, or what you want to show to the world. And even if you're not like feeling, like you said, like your best, but you want to like wear a dress with eyeballs on it, and like because it makes people smile, like I think that's way more like cheeky, and like why not? You only live one life. You know, so wear the dress, like wear the suit, you know, like wear the crazy like patterned shirt.
You know, it's funny you say that, because like I just had this pink jacket made, and I love it so much, and I haven't worn it because it's velvet, and I just got it, so it's too hot. But it's only been probably in the last 3 years that I started to feel like I'm gonna wear my clothes as together, but as separates in a way, as long as they work well, fit and color pattern or whatever. But like that pink jacket in the past, I would have thought it's a pink velvet jacket, so it has to be worn in this setting and with black pants, you know what I mean? And only in the past 3 years, I just thought like, no, it's just a pink jacket. That's what it is. It's not tied to anything. And so once you start thinking that way, you start thinking of your trousers, at least in my case, that way. And I think, well, that's a pair of suit trousers, but the jacket doesn't exist. It's a pair of pants on its own. So like, you know, once you start experimenting with putting your clothing together in those ways, sometimes, and this is where it's risky to be in our position, and in a position that I think a lot of people are in, unless it's a uniform, wherein that like you go out and sometimes you're like, I may not wear this again. You know what I mean? And it happens. Don't let anybody know. But when that happens, you know, it doesn't matter. You're already out. Who cares? Life goes on. You're going to go home. You're going to put on a different outfit tomorrow. But that also teaches you things. It all teaches you things. You go out and you feel like you look great. You're like, what did I do and to make this happen, and how do I recreate this all the time? Anyway, I don't know if that's necessarily. Why do you think people become emotional over clothing?
Because it is art. It's an emotional thing. But it's the only type of art that is, I think, like, well, it's wearable art. And so it's really connected to oneself. And so that's why people get so emotional over it. I think also fashion can say so much. Like, it shows everything in history. Like, if you look through collections in history, like, it just in the clothes, you know what's happening. You know, you could see that, you know, we're going through the Great Depression. You could see that in clothes. You're going through wars. You can see so many things. I mean, when, you know, in the 60s, there was a whole like resurgence of just like amazing fashion and like, for like about freedom and equality. So like it's so tied to like the human identity that like it has to be emotional. I mean, for me, I think it's just so moving to see someone, first of all, be able to create something. Like I love watching other designers. I think we're in an amazing period of time where we've had some amazing new blood and like some huge fashion houses, like huge creative directors, you know, came in and like, I mean, Chanel has a new creative director, Dior has a new creative director, and it just shows you, because those were kind of both, I think those houses were kind of struggling a little bit, but then they have new creative direction and someone with a fresh set of eyes, and it just brought a whole new life into the collection, and it just inspires people, and makes people like excited about, you know, getting dressed and like being themselves and like going throughout their day, or I mean just taking inspiration from something. So I feel like that's emotional to me, is seeing like new blood and like these houses that have been, you know, famous for a long time, like have a resurgence and just like a new era. But as a designer, I would say like what makes me emotional is you see every step. Like that's the thing that makes me emotional, is sometimes when the garment is like in the worst place and then you see it at the end, you're like, wow, you see the whole life of a garment from like, and it's like birthing a baby to me. Like my dresses are like children, like truly, they have their own like personalities. They have everyone is different. Some are very easy, some are very hard. And so to go through that process.
Somewhat.
Like some dresses.
Creation,
yeah, because it's like hard because you're sitting there and like there was one dress I had to like pleat this like chiffon, you know, by hand. It took hours. There's so many things that people don't realize behind the scene, and things that I would never want my customers to know, that I was sitting there for 4 hours like pleating, and we had a hand stitch with invisible thread, and it took us probably like a whole day to do that, me and my seamstress. So like when you get to the end and the customer is wearing the garment and they like feel so beautiful and you feel like that vision has been accomplished, I mean, that's such an emotional thing, you know? I think any artist would feel that way. Like
when you were, it's so interesting because like, you know, as you're describing it, it's clear you love it. And it just makes me think like, do you ever feel like you're up against this kind of cultural wall of people who just want it quicker, don't want it to be as expensive, want it to almost, this is going to sound crazy, but almost like they want to pre-like it. They want to know they're going to like it. Almost like, I wouldn't go so far as to say that's money related. I think that's more societal. Like, a lot of people dress like other people. Yeah. Yeah. Which is wild to think about, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely people that don't understand the custom and aren't like the best customer for custom. And I try to be as open as possible. Like you can tell like if someone comes and they're like, because I always do sketches. I know some designers, they're not like sketch heavy. They do draping or whatever. I do like a very detailed illustrated sketch. Then, you know, we do the muslin fitting, so they'll be able to see the garment before we do it in actual fabric. But like, there's some people that, that process makes them nervous because, they want to see it done before they put any money towards something. But I think there's a really big demand actually for people that want to connect with another person and have go through a process to make something that's one of a kind. Like that is something that a lot of my customers, that's why they keep coming back, and they've made a dress with me, but then they're like, I want to do it again because the process is such like a unique process, and they feel like it brings out an artistic side to them too, you know? And it's a very personal experience. So I feel like there's a very big demand for that, because I think also in the time we live, everything is on your phone. Like you said, in the age of Amazon, someone can go on and like just order something and it's at their door like within hours, or even the next day. Yeah.
A suit.
Yeah, exactly. So I think a lot of people like are craving that in person, you know, like authentic experience. And so, yeah, I feel like there's actually a huge demand for it. And I've had it where actually like there's been moments where there's been such demand that I can't really keep up. You know,
great.
Yeah, so,
that's awesome. Are you kidding?
Yeah. So.
You know, one of the things I love doing in appointments.
Yeah.
Not everybody does it, but I really like doing it. Is like really personalized, something engraved onto it. You know, usually on a suit, it's inside or under the collar or something. And but like one great example is Kelsey did. We were like, what should we put in the collar of your shirt? We just were like, oh, well, put my initials, put this.
Yeah.
There's so much you could do.
Yeah.
And I don't know I think it was Kelsey's idea. She said, I'm going to kiss a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. Did she tell you?
I've seen it, actually.
It's cool.
She showed me it, and it's amazing.
I'm going to kiss a piece of paper. And then I basically just took a picture with my phone, put it in Photoshop, made it black and white, and had it stitched into the collar. And it's just like her kiss is in her collar. Is so cool. But I've done that with like wedding venues, like the outline of a venue, or I've done that with a guy's daughter's drawing, a drawing of a sun, like with a happy face, and put that in his jacket. That stuff is cool because when they see it, it's like so cool. And then it's like little things like, you know, where the pocket is, that and that. Those are cool too.
Yeah. You would love it. One of my best friends, Morgan, she got married last June in Key West, Florida, and I designed her wedding gown, all her wedding looks for her. And her wedding ring is a sapphire, so it's a blue stone. And so we knew we wanted to incorporate like blue into her dress. And so what we did actually is her husband Grant would write her like love notes and like leave them around the house. We collected all these love notes over like years that he's written her, and then I pulled them out, and then we basically, what I did is on her skirt pattern, because we made a skirt pattern, she had like an overskirt that was like half to half, like hip to hip overskirt out of silk organza, which is like a very light sheer fabric. I like screen printed and like did like all his writing so it looked like water on the bottom of the overskirt.
That's cool.
We had it like printed it on the silk by one of like my amazing fabric designers and distributors, but it was all his writing, like love notes. So yeah, that you would love that dress.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like to see a picture.
I love
of it.
Anything personal like that. That's why I love custom. Is like those little hidden things. Yeah. And that was before Taylor Swift wore her dress that had writing all over it. So
what was her writing?
I don't know, but Vivienne Westwood designed it. It was one for her Eras tour.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Have you noticed that people's fashion, your clients, they get more experimental as they buy? Like the fifth thing has more, they're willing to take more risks?
Yeah, I think yes. I do think as I work with them, they're more willing to take risks. I also think that I really try to pull those things out of my customer. Like, I think if they come to me knowing I'm going to design them a gown, they probably know that it's going to be something that's going to push them a little bit. Like, I like to explore fashion and like do something different. So I always try to, when I do my recommendations and my sketches, I will always probably sketch out the most like avant-garde thing or the thing that maybe is a little out of their comfort zone, and then pull it back from there if they're like in their fittings, if they're like, this is a little too much, or I'm a little nervous, like this is a little too bold for me. But I would say like my clientele, they want to have fun with fashion and they want something really unique. Yeah.
What's something that do you have something in mind that you've done that you just loved so much?
Yeah, like one of my favorite gowns actually I've done was like, it was lacquer organza or organdy. So it looked like oil. Like this fabric like was like so like when you like in the light and when it moved it would have like it was like black and
Cool.
it was oil and it was this like, you know, crescent like a strapless gown, very fitted, and then mermaid. It had like this big mermaid skirt, and then we made each petal, we made these big flowers out of the fabric, and there was one right here and one on the bottom by like the mermaid part of the skirt. They were all handmade, each petal. That was one of my favorite dresses, and I think I really liked that client too because she was wearing that for like a gala, and she like likes to like really play with fashion and like push the envelope. So that was probably one of my favorite dresses.
Nice.
Yeah. I actually think too, like I'm making a dress right now for the new collection that comes out at the end of July. And I think it might be my new favorite. And
Really?
yeah. So it's going to be red. If you know me, red is my favorite color, like bright red.
Why is that?
I don't know. I've just always loved red so much. And like, so yeah, and it's gonna have like vintage elements. I love like vintage textiles, so this will have like tapestry fabric in it that
That's
I got
cool.
from East Coast Trimming, which if you've never been to East Coast Trimming, it's incredible. It's in New York in the Garment District. It's been there for I don't know how many years, but it's like an institution, and they have all antique French ribbons and trims and like tapestry fabric. It's incredible.
Well,
Yeah.
what's the difference between like an outfit and a costume?
Yeah. I mean, I think a costume is something that you wear when you're not trying to represent yourself. And then an outfit is something you wear as like your individual self.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. And I think, actually people don't know this, but I actually did not go to school like for fashion. I went to school for like vocal performance. So I actually performed a lot, and that's how I got into fashion is I would make my own costumes. And I did ballet and I would sing jazz, and so I would make like really elaborate dresses. And I mean I sewed since I was little, and always did fashion like while I did music. And then I started doing design and designing things and costumes for people, other like musicians and people that were on stage, and I would style them. So that's how I actually got started. And I think the difference between a costume and an outfit is a costume is kind of what you want to show to the world or a character you're putting on. An outfit is like something you put on that is you.
That's interesting. I mean, that's so interesting to me because, you know, I'm in this world of like, you know, fitting in, but also standing out.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, when you put something on, you are, at least I am, shooting something outwards. I'm you know, I'm doing it because other people exist in the world, and I'm not going to go outside nude.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I put on clothes. So I put on clothes, go outside.
Yeah.
But then what you intend, how you intend to be interpreted, sometimes is not the same way you are actually interpreted.
Yeah.
Or you might be interpreted the way you intend by this person, but not that person.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to like, you know, I live kind of weirdly like halfway in between myself and everybody else. And everybody does, I think, but like there's the tendency to want to like go inward, outward.
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting that like, you know, I think that what I just said is part of the reason why people don't take risks is because what will people think of me? You know, it's maybe why some people don't wear a bright red dress. Because red is an attractive color. Roses, blood, red cars, red lipstick, you know, and it's like people might like the color red, but they don't want the attention.
Yeah. And so then, exactly. So it's like that's why clothes is so much more than clothing. It's so much deeper because like you're right. Like, there's a lot of women that don't want to wear red because what does that mean about me? Like, it's like a scarlet color or whatever, you know what I mean? Especially like for events, and they don't want like all the attention on them. But then it's like, why can't the attention all be on you? Like, this is such a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to own it. Like, I'm all about owning it.
I am too. I am too. Now that makes me think of tuxedos.
Yeah.
And a black tie. And, you know, you shouldn't own the room because the whole point is everybody's the same. But people still do in fit and lapel width and dress. I don't know what you know, like the appropriate attire for a woman to a black tie event. Dark colors, essentially. I mean, you're not going to wear white.
Yeah, you can't wear white. It's like a black tie wedding. No.
But it's like standing out has its limitation.
Exactly, yes.
Based on what?
Like, if you're a guest, I mean, I think you always have to, I mean, obviously I tell everyone as a stylist, this is my stylist side, not so much my designer side. I think like it all has to be appropriate to what you're going to. Like, if you're going to someone else's wedding, the bride and groom, the bride has to be the star, and like that's her moment. So if you're a guest, I think you should dress in something that you feel really good about, like how you feel in it. You should feel good, but you also shouldn't be taking attention away from the bride. So yeah, no white, unless nowadays there's some brides that do all white parties for their wedding and they wear a color.
I think it's kind of cool.
Which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the type of bride I love to design for, is more the different, like, avant-garde bride.
Yeah.
Like, I've done wedding dresses that are pink, blue, black, red. So then, you know, and they had their guests wear white.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, but I guess if you're a guest, yeah, you have to be careful about it. You have to feel good in what you wear. It has to be well, like, fitted to you. But yeah, I would say, I mean, I think you could wear red. I think some guests can wear red. It just depends on the person, though, you know, and who, you know, if you own it and it feels like, see, red to me, like when I wear red, people know me for that color. I just wear it a lot. I love to design and do a lot in that color. My brand's color is red. It has significance for me. So people they know like Catherine in red. And I think there's some people that have their colors. Like, I have a friend who she like wears green all the time, and she looks fabulous in green, and like that's like her color. So again, it's more thinking about what's authentically you, because I think when things stand out in the wrong way, it's when you're trying to put on something that isn't you, or that you feel uncomfortable about or self-conscious about.
I agree with that. How do you compare Chicago style to New York style?
New York is much better style. I think Chicago, it's more Midwest, obviously. I think the guys in New York dress a lot better than the guys in Chicago, yes. I think the girls are kind of even, honestly. I feel like, I mean, there's a lot of women in Chicago that are very fashionable. But yeah, I think the guys in New York, I've noticed, care a lot more about what they're wearing, which I appreciate. What do you think? I mean,
I don't know. I don't see that here.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm jaded or what, because I don't see it enough.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like when you go to England or London, I see it a lot more there.
Well, anywhere in Europe. I mean, they're
What is that? What is that? What's going on in America?
Yeah.
What is going on?
I don't know, but I agree. When you go to Europe, I mean, they're more willing to explore fashion. I also think I think a lot of it has to do in Europe. People in Europe, they really buy quality over quantity. And designer means something to them. Where in America, I think, again, it's just like the consumption, like people want a lot of things, and maybe you have like a lot of like Amazon clothes or cheap clothes because you can get a lot of it and you don't really like care. But in Europe, it's super important, like the quality of something. That's why designers do so much sales over there, and they have like big houses come from Europe because people really care about that. Like, they would rather buy a sweater that's, you know, Laura Piana, and like its quality would be like have it like for years over than a sweater that they can buy like fast fashion that's like $30, you know, that doesn't look as good.
And it's another thing, like, you know, everybody thinks that like if it's wool, if it says wool, then it's all the same.
Yeah,
it's not at all.
Yeah.
I think part of it too is like in Europe, I feel like there's a higher likelihood that there are people who are closer to the production process. And here, it's like, unless it's like boutique, what company is making all their stuff? They might say it's made in America. I'm not if something is, I don't, I love America.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm American. I love America, but I also love the earth.
Yeah.
And I love humans.
Yeah.
So, you know, nationalism and human pride, they don't overlap to me. They're both one and the same. And I say that because I also believe that like international cooperation in fashion is great. So, you know, I'm not isolationist in that way. But I like what I was saying, it's like, you know, what company is like making their clothes here? And if they are, I feel like it's the product range is very limited. Maybe they're just making hats, you know, but like, I don't know. That's a complicated subject, but it's an interesting one to me because it's like, is it because America is like do you think America's a trendsetter? Fashion? No.
I think, and you see it with the like fashion weeks. Like, I mean, I think like, there's a reason why Couture Week happens in Paris because that's the birthplace of couture and craftsmanship. And then it bleeds down. I mean, London Fashion Week, Milan, those are like the three, in my opinion, and I think any designer or person that works in fashion will tell you like, those are the bread and butter fashion weeks. And then it's New York Fashion Week and, you know, New York fashion, we have amazing designers in New York. Like there's been amazing designers that have come, you know, like I think about like Diane von Furstenberg. She's an American designer, but she came over from Europe, you know, but she started her brand here and she was so innovative and created the wrap dress, which changed like what women wore, you know. And then, you know, you have Cynthia Rowley, you have, Ralph Lauren, you have like so many amazing American designers, but a lot of those designers actually, like you said, they produce things in Europe or they get their fabrics from Europe. So, but I think if you're looking at like craftsmanship and like art, that starts in Paris. And Paris Couture Week is just starting now, just happening.
I will say that, yes, I agree with you. But if we get out of our, you know, finely tailored clothing universes, arguably, the young folks, a lot of young people around the world would rather wear a pair of Yeezys, a pair of plastic shoes that are printed. And, you know, I guess, what's the company On? They're like Danish. You know that company? It's a shoe company. And so they're like revolutionary for printing their shoes. Or at least a couple of them or one of them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, when I asked the question if America is a trendsetter in fashion, it's almost like I think we kind of have to define fashion because it's definitely not just tailored clothing.
Like
it's not
street fashion. Like
there's a lot.
Yeah, street fashion and like street style. I think like every place you go to has a very different street style, which I love. Like looking at like street style. Like if you I follow so many blogs and pages where they talk about, you know, what are women in Paris wearing? What are women in New York wearing? What are women in London wearing? And it's so different, you know?
Which one do you recommend? Like a YouTube channel or blog or something?
Yeah. I think there's a lot on Instagram. I'm trying to remember what is my favorite.
It'll come to you.
Watching New York is really good. He does a lot of street style for New York. He's really great. He's known for like shooting street style in New York. And then I would say I mean, I also still love fashion magazines. Like, I think like Harper's Bazaar is amazing. They have an amazing like editor named Lynette. She's the digital editor for Harper's Bazaar. I think she is really like what editors should be, because I mean, I think fashion magazines were kind of like dying out, and I do see like a lot of hope in like young editors like her that are very innovative. I can't say that word.
Innovative?
Innovative. Yes, thank you. So she has like she has some amazing, like her Substack's amazing, and she talks a lot about like what she sees, and she goes to all the couture shows, but she also talks about street style, and she has amazing street style herself. So
I'm learning it. I'm learning street style.
Yeah.
I'm very new to it.
Yeah.
But I like it because sometimes do you ever just go around the corner from your apartment, and because you're on the east side, right?
Yeah, Upper East.
You ever go around the corner to your apartment in just shitty sweatpants?
No, I don't actually own sweatpants.
You don't?
People like I don't like own a pair of sweatpants.
Yeah.
That's like something that a lot of people think is weird about me, and I've always been like this. Like I will have my outfits in the day, and then like I go home and I don't like I'll have like my pajamas. There's no in between for me. I don't have like grungy clothes.
Is your pajama like a shirt and a short, or like a pant? Is it like a two-piece thing? Is it like a one thing?
I have both. Like sometimes I'll do like I like vintage like slips. I love like like pants and like a camisole. But yeah, I mean like I don't have like sweatpants. Like you'll never see me in sweatpants.
What do you go around the corner in then? Like what do you wear when you go just to get milk?
I'll throw on like a dress.
Okay.
Like I have a lot of day dresses. I mean, even jeans I don't wear that often. Like
really?
Yeah. My
That's
friends
cool.
even tell me like, oh, like if I wear jeans, they're like, are you okay?
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah.
I know. When I dress down, it's like, the people don't even recognize you sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I see people on the street and I'm
Yeah.
like, hey.
The thing is, I guess I don't. But that's me. I'm not hating on anyone who does that, because I think there's
a lot of people
like,
do it.
Like there's so many people that do it, and like I think I see girls all the time and guys, they'll wear their sweatpants. I'm like, oh, they look great. They look so cute and sporty. It's just not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like.
I mean, what do you go around the corner and get?
Dirty sweatpants.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, look, there's that rule that you're not supposed to go beyond 2 blocks from your home in dirty sweatpants. But like, definitely. They're not dirty.
Yeah.
They're regular old black sweatpants or whatever.
Yeah.
And like Nikes, and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's like essentially like workout clothes.
Okay.
But I don't get in the habit of wearing that because you can.
Yeah,
that's
you
the
can
problem. You can
Yeah.
get in the habit of it.
Yeah.
Which is probably good that you're not doing it, honestly. Because sometimes I look at people and I'm like, you look like you are at home, but you're on the street.
Yeah.
And we're all wondering why it looks like you are not part of what we're all doing here.
Yeah.
Which is, sending messages with our clothing. We're all doing it, you know? When you go to work, you don't wear certain things. Why? Because you don't want to send that message.
Yeah.
Same thing we were saying about the wedding. Mm-hmm. Same thing when you go to brunch. You're not wearing a tuxedo to brunch.
Yeah.
There's a reason,
Yeah.
So it's a slippery slope for sure.
Yeah, and I think for me, maybe I'm just more old school about that, because I mean, I just like love the process of like getting ready. I think that's like one of my favorite things about being like a girl. Is like, I mean, I would watch, like, I was fascinated by it growing up. Like my grandmother, like, I just watching her put her makeup on, put her jewelry. I would go through her clothes and be like, oh, you should wear this. I was always very opinionated about what I wanted people to wear. Seeing my mom get ready, be like, oh, you need to wear this, like, I love the process of getting ready. And so I think, like, for me, that's how I, like, set my mindset for the day, is, like, what am I going to present to the world? Like, how am I going to do my hair? I'm going to do my makeup. What outfit I'm going to do? Like, what is what am I going to show? Like, what part of my personality am I going to show? Or how am I going to take on this day? Because it changes. It really affects your mindset. It really does. Like, I feel like, I mean, if you have something if you feel amazing, your mindset and your productivity, I can't even talk today. is so much higher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're wearing your sweatpants or whatever.
It's funny that you say that because there is decision fatigue that a lot of people have, and that ruins productivity, the decision fatigue. So, it's almost like the experimentation, there's an interesting, weird, like kind of sway, I think, in that you have the experimentation of wearing clothes and the, wanting to show up and look good and this and that and show off your personality. And then you have but I just need to get out of the house right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a spectrum. Some people are okay getting ready for 4 hours. Some people get ready in 20 minutes and they're gone.
Yeah.
And the decision fatigue is somewhere in the middle, in that you want to wear something that you love, but in that moment you might think you want to wear it and you put it on and it just doesn't feel right. So you change. When you said, I like getting dressed, I couldn't be more opposite.
Really?
Yeah. I love wearing the clothes.
Okay. But
actually putting the clothes on, to me, is like, I'm not thrilled about the actual process of putting the clothes on. I like doing it. I like the finished result. But anyway, and the part of the reason why is because as you're getting dressed in the morning, or whenever, the more decisions you spend, you have a finite amount of decisions in a day. Maybe some people have more than others. The more decisions you spend getting ready, the more exhausted you feel when you leave the house. The more you feel like you've just lived for 2 hours and you haven't done much.
Yeah.
You've done all that, and an hour and 20 minutes of that was deciding what you were going to wear.
Yeah. Yeah, but for me, I think for me, it's more, I like the whimsy of it. It's more artistic for me. And maybe this is going back to when I used to perform, because I loved that element of performing, of if I was singing jazz or whatever, doing what makeup I'm going to wear, how am I going to do my hair, was very exaggerated, or the outfit, you know what I mean? Things like that. So when I get ready in the morning, it's not so much I'm oh, what am I going to wear? How am I going to do this? It's more just very authentic and artistic. I'm oh, I'm going to do this lipstick. I'm going to do my hair this way. I'm going to wear this outfit, Yeah. It just gives you a little fun in the morning, but I can see it's not for everyone.
What's your favorite neighborhood in New York?
So hard. I mean, I'm pretty new to New York, honestly. I
How
moved
long?
in January.
January this year?
Yeah. So I haven't
pretty,
explored every neighborhood, but I love the Upper East Side where I live. I think it's fabulous. I love the community. I love some of the women I've met that have lived in that neighborhood. I've met so many incredible women. Talk about women that get dressed. One of my favorite stories is actually, I was walking back from Whole Foods, and this was back when we were having all the snowstorms. And I saw this older lady, and she was carrying her grocery bags, and she was wearing this fabulous fur coat. It was from amazing fur coat. Clearly a vintage fur, down to her ankles. She had a fur hat. Her name is Singrid. She's fabulous. She was carrying her groceries, and she looks over at me, and she was like, honey, can you hold this for me for a second? And I held her bag, and I was like, I'll help you carry them up the street, because she lives a block away from me. Come to find out, she's a retired showgirl from Broadway.
Oh,
she has the best stories. So I love that about the Upper East Side, is that there's just all these people that want to talk to you, and they've lived in the neighborhood for many years, and even the businesses. I mean, there's just so many cool individual businesses, which that's why I love New York just in general, is because of that. People, I think New York gets a bad rap. We were talking about Chicago versus New York. New York, I think it's a bad rap because they're oh, New Yorkers don't talk to you, or it's very busy. They don't want to spend the time to have human connection. I actually have found it to be the complete opposite. I came from the Midwest, where people are known to be very friendly, very want to chat. But I actually feel moving to New York, I've had so many experiences with just total strangers that just want to connect and chat and have the most interesting stories.
But that sounds similar to where you grew up. in that you said that they're happy and they want to chat, but there are also people in New York that do the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
so I'm saying like I think like that's something that because before I moved to New York, people told me it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
And I've actually find it more than even Chicago.
Okay.
That people like want to chat and like have really care about community.
I wonder how much of that is like post-coronavirus attitudes,
Maybe.
and if that thought of like, oh, New Yorkers are standoffish or whatever, is pre-coronavirus attitudes. I'm not sure, but also I think in New York there's a tendency to want to know the result of the interaction before it starts. Because I'm from California, I'm from San Francisco, so I'm not going to go so far. I'm not going to stereotype people who are born in New York, but are still here. But there does seem to be, and I feel like I'm starting to become this way. This like when you're talking to somebody out in the world and you don't know them, this is a great conversation, but it can't last forever because I got shit to do. Mm-hmm. But also, this is a great conversation. Not what can I get out of it, but what
is it leading to?
Could this be a business transaction?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Like, what is it leading to?
What is it leading to?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because, in New York, I feel like there's this attitude of if only I knew this person, or if only I got access to this business or that production office or whatever, how do I get there? What do I need to do? So when you're in that world of, say, our world of fashion, it's like, you meet somebody and, oh, I work at Gucci, I'm XYZ. Mm-hmm. There's this, oh, okay, I'll give you more of my time because of where you work and who you are.
Yeah.
As opposed to, why would I give a bunch of time to somebody who may not have those keys that can open those doors?
Yeah. But you also don't know, like, I think like our industry is so amazing, and it's all about like networking. And I think that's honestly why I have been successful, is because I really care about like having genuine relationships with other people in our industry and learning about what they do. I mean, like, that's why like the seamstresses I work with are so important to me, like really knowing about their lives. Or like if I meet someone out and they're a photographer, I love to like see their work and collaborate. And like, I think that is like really, really important, is to encourage other people in our industry. Because sometimes I think like even with other designers, like I've done it where I've helped them style their shoots and things like that because I believe in their work. I think a lot of times, people are very like individual and they're like, well, I only want to go to this person because I can get something from them. But it's also has to be like helping the community, and it's so community based, our industry.
Yeah.
And like I said, you never know, like that person that you did a shoot with 2 years ago could be like the next creative director for some huge brand, or that the photo could be on the front page of Vogue. Like, you don't know where, any of those things, but I never think about that. Like, I just want to work with people that, first of all, are like genuinely just good people, that good vibes, and that, are authentic to themselves. Because I have worked with people, I've worked for and with people that are not kind. And they, and it doesn't work for them. I think in our industry, like, if you're authentic and kind, that really is what brings you forward and what gets you to where you want to be.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, when you're talking to a person, I feel like it's quite easy to know if that person cares about what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
And the second, I don't know about you, but the second I feel like I'm talking to nobody, I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting my time.
Exactly. Yeah. And you have to be careful because, and you learn this as you work in the industry, especially like with what you do. I mean, you're very talented and you have like a vision for what you do. I feel like I have a very unique vision, and there's certain things that I have skills, and people like to use those, and like, as a designer, like there were years where like, yeah, I was just designing for other people to get the credit. And, you know, like, and I learned a lot and I gained a lot of experience. But in the end of the day, like, that's why when you do go off on your own, like, I know I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for those people that, and even sometimes it was hard. Some things, you know, it was like good times and bad times, but you learn so much. You get so much experience from those things.
Couldn't agree more. And they put their faith in you.
Yeah.
They put their company to some degree in your hands and in your expertise, because, you know, I work for a company called Alton Lane. And it was started by this guy named Peyton Jenkins, and I forget the other dude's name. I never met him. Anyway, they went to Thailand and they just became friends with all these people who made tailored clothes, and 20 years ago or whatever. And then they come here, or they started in Virginia, I think, and they come to America and they just like start this business, and then so many years later I get hired. Just a little guy who's just learning, you know, and I made mistakes there that were fine. I mean, I was learning, you know, that's kind of what happens. But like not mistakes that I couldn't fix. But you know, when you start your own business and your own thing, it's like those mistakes are felt instantly. It's not like, oh no, hopefully they may not notice. No, it's they're done, and now you know them. And I don't know. I kind of I'm really grateful for those companies. Some of which and people, some of which were great and some were not. But you know, they were all good in that what you got out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know for me, like now that I own my own like design, and this is the first time I've owned my own design since like for 10 years, because I've worked for other people that, you know, when you're a designer, if you're with a company, they have exclusive rights over your like basically all your designs. So for the first time in like 10 years, I actually have ownership over my designs. It's something I think about all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want to, and you learn so much of like what you want to do, like what you want to recreate, like how they kind of built their business, but also a lot of things that you would do differently. And I think the most important thing for me is just how I treat my people, because that's another thing that people don't understand in fashion, especially with what I do, like with full custom. Like it's not some machine making this garment. It's actually like real people sewing this garment by hand. So it's like, you know, it takes hours, and like real people are behind it. So it's like how you treat and how you make those people feel are going to be representative in the clothing, you know? And that's why I think like the garments, they're pieces of love. At least like my gowns, they're really labors of love, and they're like, it wouldn't be possible. It like as a designer, yes, I could design something, sell something and sew it, but it would not be as beautiful as it is without the collaboration of the people that I do it with.
I like that. What's your relationship with, you said you're related to your...
Diana Vreeland.
Who is that to you?
So she's like my great aunt.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's an icon. Like I feel very lucky.
Late 1800s?
No, she's actually, so she like
great.
Yeah, so she was like in the Vogue age of like, I mean, she was at Vogue in like the 50s, 60s.
Oh, okay. I mean, when was she born? Sorry.
Oh, I think like
early 1900s.
Yeah, early 1900s. Yeah. 'Cause she was like in her 20s and 19. Yeah.
And she worked for Vogue in the 60s?
Yeah.
That must have been kind of cool.
Yeah. She's
like,
really cool.
like
she was very like ahead of her time too. Like, I mean, she launched a lot of designers' careers. Like that's something that, again, I think maybe that's why I'm so inspired about the collaboration, is she would see just innate things that made individuals super special and unique, and she encouraged them. Like she was really good friends with Andy Warhol and just really encouraged his photography, and she was really good friends and like helped YSL, Yves Saint Laurent, and you know, Armani was a really good friend of hers, and you know, like just amazing stories. I mean, she was the first one to shoot Mick Jagger on a cover of a magazine in America, just because she liked his lips, not because he was like a rock star.
Yeah.
Just because she liked his lips and thought he had something. Like she also like really like at that time, women weren't really like seen as like breadwinners or like having huge careers. She really was the person that like at that time that really encouraged people to be like, wow, women can be the breadwinners in their family and like have an amazing career. I mean, she walked so Anna Wintour could run. Like Anna Wintour, like everything that Vogue is, like Harper's Bazaar, I mean, the Met is because of Diana Vreeland. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. It's the facts.
What's your last name?
Vreeland.
I just wanted to hear you say that.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's great because like, that's, so my biological father, you know what happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a new biological father I just found out about.
Yeah.
He was born in Athens, Greece.
Yeah.
And he's big in the politics in Greece. And, you know, that side of the family, they're all like deep thinkers. And I often wondered where I get that part of myself from. And when I met them, I was like, oh, I don't know how much of ourselves is biological. I mean, yeah, the physical body and the physical brain, but like the difference between the physical brain and the mind is razor thin.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like the having the last name probably helped or still helps in like the conceptualizing how you might have inherited some kind of, you know, artistic value and you know, love of the craft. But also it's like, I truly believe that she is living, if cells are alive, she's living in you.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the difference between, you know, I mean, what's a brain without a body, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I think she is.
Yeah, no, I think like, I also believe that. I'm like a very spiritual person. So I feel like, yeah, like even just like the psyche or like spirit, like sometimes weirdly shows up in like families, you know what I mean? Where you like have, like my family is all very strong, independent women. We're all very artistic. So like there's definitely like a lineage of that. But also too, like, I think there's just certain things, yeah, I was never like told growing up like, oh, like, you know, or pushed to do fashion because of my family or because they thought it's something like I should do. It just always was something I wanted to do and I was fascinated by from like a really young age. And like just certain things that just make sense. Like, you know, she was very bold in her fashion and like there's certain things that, you know, like she loved blush and there's just certain things that now I do. Like she blushes up to her ears. Like that's something that I do. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, just the way we see, like, I mean, I'm really into like fashion photography as well as she. I feel like she really, I mean, she was the one who really created what fashion editorial is today, like where there's spreads and they have a story behind them. Like that's me. I like, whether I'm doing a design or thinking of like a photo shoot, like it's about the story or the central theme of something, like very particular visuals. Yeah. So it comes up in like the weirdest things that you wouldn't, you know, I'll be like, oh, that's interesting.
Where did you get your love for tarot reading?
I've always loved it since I was little. Yeah. I've always felt like I was psychic since I was like very little. Like I would have very vivid dreams. And then I always had a really big imagination since I was little. So a lot of times, like at first, like my parents would be like, or my grandparents, I would say these stories or things that I think would happen. And they would just kind of brush it off, like just being like, oh, it's like a child's imagination, you know, it can run wild. But then things started to happen that were true. And then I just started to also, I think like, I mean, some people don't believe in it. They're just like, oh, you're just going off of gut instincts. Well, I just follow my gut instincts. That's how I've always been since I was little. So I think like intuition and following your gut is just something that it's a muscle that I've trained and that I've followed my whole life. So, and it's worked out for me. But I started reading tarot cards actually when I was 13 years old because I went to New Orleans. At that time, my half-sister Amy lived in New Orleans, and we got our tarot cards read by like a really good like psychic tarot card reader in New Orleans, and I love New Orleans. And she basically told me after my reading that she thought that like she sensed that I had the ability to read tarot cards, and she actually gave me my first deck of tarot cards. And then I just started to read about like how to read tarot cards, what are the meaning behind the cards, because there's 78 cards in a deck and each one is different. So you have to like really...
It was a lot. When you did my reading, I was like, it was a lot. It was a lot of information. Yeah, so I just started doing it for like friends and myself and my family, and I found that it like people loved it and they really connected to it, and that it helped a lot of people. And I never did it like, I never do it to like, you know, I don't do it for like money. I'm not on like the street corners doing it. I would never do that. I think it's a very intimate thing. I only do it for people that I like know and that like I feel like would need something from it, because it's helped me a lot, tarot. And just, I think it's just believing in something, like believing in like the universe and like magic. Like even if you, I mean, I believe in magic 100% in the universe and like all that, but I think it's just, even if you're not a believer, it's more fun to believe that maybe it will work out in your favor. Maybe there is some sort of like special magic power that's at play that like will help you, or like maybe like that gut feeling you have about something, like you should do it or you shouldn't do something, you know? Yeah.
So, I don't know. I've always loved the mystical.
I mean, no, I agree. I think that like, first of all, I am going to ask you if you believe in ghosts, but before I do, there is like a weird, like, as you know, when you're a kid, you get into adolescence, and then mid 20s, life starts to become much more physical. Like, that object is there, and in order to think of it whimsically, you have to either imagine it alive or recognize that it's a bunch of shaking atoms and it's actually like a passable object. It's just our atoms are denser, so we can't actually go through it. So it's like, I feel like people kind of learn out of the mystical, but they all start there. So that said, so what? Ghosts? Yay, nay?
I actually do believe in ghosts, yeah.
Do you think that they're like just floating around and they're energies?
I don't think they're just floating around. I actually think they're energies. I think that like they're usually like energies that are still somehow tied to like, you know, the earth. I think like I truly believe like if you pass, I believe in like heaven and hell and all that, like good and bad. I believe that like a lot of the ghosts are just people that haven't let go of their lives yet, and that they have some unsort of finished business and their energy can't pass on. I think like people that have passed with peace go either way, good or bad, but it's whatever you believe, you know. I think that's the great thing about the mystical realm and religion is like people can believe in so many different things, and like what you believe can be completely different than I believe. And I think like as long as it works for you and gives you some sense of like purpose and like makes you feel good, like that is like.
Do you think that like
I think it's the saddest when people don't believe in anything. Like when I have a person that's like, oh, I don't believe anything, I just don't know how you don't.
Well, that's such a ridiculous statement. You know, I mean, you can't. I mean, I can't imagine meeting somebody who says they believe in nothing. Now, of course, they believe in something. I don't know what, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, mine is pretty wild. It would take me ages to describe what I believe in.
Yeah, we do. That's a whole other podcast.
It is, yeah. It has a lot to do with the mind for sure.
Yeah.
Where the mind is, I think is very important to
Yeah.
note. But on that track, you know, is your belief reality in that if you believe something, then that is true. And if that is true, then how can two people believe things that are both true? Is it just we all have truths?
I think all of us have our own realities. We're all living in our own reality.
Yeah.
And like for me, like I know it's like such a thing, but I'm like, for me, I've always just like, whether I call it the universe, God, you know, energy, you know, for me, I know there's something and I've felt it. I've always been a very spiritual person and I've always had really natural, like, and some people are like, oh, that's woohoo, but I've always had like natural instincts and, you know, I like connections with other people or animals, like the earth. Like a lot of what I do too is like I do tarot cards, but I also do like a lot of spell work.
Really?
Like, good spell. But that's just like
is.
what you're talking about, like mindsets, like manifestation. So like it just physically manifesting something. Like for example, like if there's something toxic in your life, you can do like a cord cutting spell where you do like 2 candles and there's like a cord and then, you know, there's herbs on one and then you basically burn the candle and it cuts the cord. So some people will be like, that's just candles and like string. That's not going to do anything. But there's something to be said about like visually seeing something like disconnect. And then like, how does that affect your mindset? Like, I'm just a very visual person. I think that's also going into fashion. Like everything I do has like whimsy, a little bit of fantasy. It's very visually like, so for me, like I have to visually see things and feel things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I guess what you're saying, like, I think everyone lives in their own reality. Like, I just am like, if someone believes and they're very set and this is how it is, I'm not going to be the one that tells them no. Because I know what I think I believe in, you know?
Yeah.
And what I like to do.
Do you ever talk to the dead?
No, I'm not that kind of like, I don't do that.
Like, I mean, like,
I don't have that skill.
Well, I don't mean
but
like...
I believe that people can.
Someone suggested to me, my aunt suggested to me that I channel my deceased mother on occasion when I feel like I want to get some encouragement from her. Yeah. And I'm not sitting there having a conversation, but like it is interesting to kind of going back to your great aunt, great aunt. It's like that speaking inward, like you're not saying it with your mouth, you're not using your body to say the words, you're just saying the words in your mind. And you know, everyone you met, kind of going back to what you're saying about the connections and how that's helped you out for so long, it's like they're all in you. And that's why I think it's really important. That's why I love customers so much. Yeah. Is because, or clients, or whatever you want to call the people we work with, is, you know, we are each other in a very real, not a weird mystical way, just a real, tangible, authentic way. Because born into a world with no other humans, you probably won't become a human. No, you wouldn't. What's your company? What's your company's name?
It's called, so my brand's called CV, but like it's called AtelierC.V.
AtelierC.V.
Yeah.
And what, people, when they want to make something, they schedule you, they call you through your website or something?
Yeah, so I have the page and everything is launching on July 28th.
Nice.
I'm a big numerology person and 28 is my like special number. So it was important for me to have that launch on the 28th. So yeah, I'll have a website, obviously Instagram. You can reach me through Instagram. And then you would book like a consultation where, you know, I would basically meet with you, just kind of like exactly how you do it. We talk about like the event or what kind of garment you need made. And then I do like a fashion sketch for you. We look through fabrics. And then we start like first fitting, second fitting, third fitting. And we go through the process, which is so magical.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Do you have a logo?
I do, yeah. I do.
Is it like public or is it like the 28th?
It's public.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's public.
It's just.
It's red. It's like the course. It's red, and then it has the CV in white.
And why is it CV?
Catherine Vreeland. Yeah. Yeah.
Give me a hug.
Thank you so much.